Your business is finally taking off, right? Invoices are flying out, the money's coming in, and then this sudden, cold panic sets in. Have you accidentally crossed the VAT threshold without even realizing it? It's a moment that can stop any business owner dead in their tracks. But don't worry, today we're going to turn that panic into a solid plan. And this right here, this is a real feeling from a real UK business owner. It is an incredibly common moment of dread. That feeling when you realize your own success might have just landed you a huge unexpected tax bill. But listen, you are not alone in this, and there is a very clear path forward. That's why we've teamed up with a specialist at Pro Tax Accountant. They've developed this guide to help you navigate this exact situation. Trust me, their team has seen it all, and they've helped countless businesses just like yours get right back on track. Okay, let's dive into this. So here's our game plan for today. We'll start by really understanding the problem, what we're calling the $90,000 surprise. Then we'll get real about the serious consequences of getting it wrong. After that, we'll walk you through the solution with an actionable playbook. And finally, we'll talk about how to manage everything perfectly from here on out. All right, first up, the $90,000 surprise. This is the number that catches so many successful freelancers and businesses completely off guard. But it's not just about the number itself. It's about how you calculate it. And that right there is where the real trap lies. So this is the magic number. As of the 2025/26 tax year, if your business's VAT taxable turnover in the last 12 months has gone over £90,000, you are legally required to register for VAT. Let me be clear, this isn't optional. It's a legal obligation. Now, this is probably the single most important concept to get your head around, and it's where most people get tripped up. We are not talking about your financial year or the tax year. We're talking about a rolling 12-month period. This means you have to look back over the previous 12 months at the end of every single month. So at the end of May, you check your turnover from last June to this May. At the end of June, you check from last July to this June. It's a constant, ongoing calculation. Okay, so we understand the threshold now, but let's talk about the part that causes all the panic, the consequences of missing it. And stay with me here, because understanding this is absolutely crucial for knowing why taking immediate action is so important. Let's look at the real costs. This timeline just illustrates the urgency perfectly. The moment you cross that threshold, a clock starts ticking. You have 30 days from the end of the month you went over to tell HMRC. Your liability for VAT then officially begins on the first day of the second month after. So to be clear, if you cross the line in May, you're on the hook for VAT on all your sales starting from July 1st. And this is the killer question, isn't it? If you didn't charge your clients any VAT because you didn't know you had to, does HMRC just expect you to magically find 20% from the money you already made? Does it come straight out of your pocket? Well, the answer is, sort of. Let's think about a freelancer in London. We'll call him Alex. Alex discovers he should have registered for VAT 2 months ago. In those 2 months, he invoiced his clients and got paid a total of £12,000. Now, HMRC doesn't ask for 20% on top of that. Instead, they treat that £12,000 as the total price, which already includes the VAT. So the VAT he owes is actually 1/6 of that total, which is £2,000. That $2,000 now has to be paid to HMRC directly from the money Alex thought he had already earned. And that's not all. Nope. On top of that backdated VAT, there are penalties for failing to notify HMRC on time. As you can see from this table, the penalty is a percentage of the VAT you owe, and it just gets worse the longer you wait. It starts at 5% and climbs all the way to 15%. This is where the costs can really start to spiral out of control. And believe me, this isn't just a hypothetical. There was a real case where a sole trader claimed he just misunderstood the rules. HMRC decided his failure to register was deliberate, and the court upheld a penalty of nearly £30,000. It's a really sobering example of how seriously they take this. But don't panic. Getting it wrong is easy, but getting it right is also straightforward, if you know the steps. So let's move on to the solution. Okay, that was the tough part, I promise. We've defined the problem, we understand the stakes, but now it's time for the solution. There is a way out of this, and here is your clear, actionable playbook developed with the experts at Pro Tax Accountant to fix the situation for good. Following these 5 steps, in this order, will take you from a state of total panic to a position of control. It's all about being methodical and proactive. So let's break each of these down so you know exactly what you need to do. So here's a huge pro tip. Whatever you do, do not wait for that dreaded brown envelope to land on your doormat. Coming forward voluntarily is officially called an unprompted disclosure. This shows HMRC that you're trying to do the right thing, and it can significantly reduce your penalties, sometimes even down to zero if the failure wasn't deliberate and you act within 12 months. Now, to figure out your final bill, it's not just about what you owe, it's also about what you can claim back. You take the VAT you owe on your sales, that's called output VAT. From that total, you subtract the VAT you paid on your own business expenses, and that's called input VAT. The difference between the two is the net amount you actually pay to HMRC. And here is a fantastic bit of news that can seriously reduce your VAT bill. This is a real lifesaver. HMRC actually lets you reclaim VAT on goods you bought up to 4 years before you registered, as long as you still have them for your business. And for services, you can go back 6 months. Did you buy a new work laptop 2 years ago? A camera? You can claim back the VAT on those purchases right now. Okay, so what if you do face penalties? Well, you can appeal if you have what HMRC calls a reasonable excuse. But it's really important to be realistic here. As you can see, the bar is set very, very high. They'll consider serious, unexpected life events. But common issues like finding the system difficult or just having cash flow problems, unfortunately, those won't be enough to get the penalty waived. Right. You've dealt with the past, you're registered, and you're now fully compliant. So what happens now? What does the new normal look like? Let's move to our final section and see how this all builds towards running your business smoothly from here on out. Here's another pro tip. For a freelancer like Alex, whose clients are other VAT-registered businesses, this is a total game changer. You simply add 20% VAT to your future invoices. For your client, an invoice for £1,200 including VAT actually costs them the exact same as an old invoice for £1,000 because they just claim that £200 in VAT right back from HMRC. Your pricing structure can adapt without you losing clients. And one more, look into the flat rate scheme. This is perfect for a lot of service-based businesses, like consultants or writers, who don't buy a lot of VAT-able goods. You still charge your clients the standard 20%, but you only pay HMRC a lower, fixed percentage that's based on your industry. You can't reclaim input VAT on most things, but the lower rate you pay often more than makes up for it, and it really simplifies your accounting. It can be a big win. So let's just quickly recap the key takeaways. Remember that it's a rolling 90K threshold. Act fast and disclose voluntarily. And please, don't forget you can reclaim past VAT to lower your bill. Getting these things right is what puts you back in control. You know, thinking about this is one thing, but actually acting is what matters. So what's your first step going to be? Are you going to go back through your accounts tonight? Maybe look up the rules on reclaiming past VAT? Or maybe the first step is reaching out for professional help. Whatever it is, taking that first step is the most important part. Don't let uncertainty lead to even more costly delays. And just a quick, important reminder, this has all been for general guidance. VAT is complicated and every single business is different, so it's always, always best to get advice that is tailored to your specific situation. For that tailored, expert help, we really recommend the specialists at Pro Tax Accountant. They can manage this entire process for you and completely minimize the stress. Their contact details are on the screen right now. Thanks for joining us.